Alright, please confirm immediately if I look suitably massive and magnificent. Confirm immediately. I'm waiting for the confirmation. Julius Evola says yes. I believe that you are imbued indeed with the spirit of Julius Evola, and you can confirm that I look absolutely magnificent and muscular for the live stream, the cortisol stream of enlightenment here. So yes, you can submit a super chat on over on let's see, powerchat.live. So you have the link in the pinned message of the stream there. And yeah, I suppose the super chats on YouTube will also appear. So we're gonna read those. I have already gotten one regarding my thoughts on gambling. So we're gonna get to those later on. But first we have two things to discuss. First and foremost, we're gonna discuss the something I saw. I actually saw it the other day after my latest stream. I saw a clip with Curtis Yarvin, also known as Moldbug. Funny name, Moldbug. Anyway, he says the following in an interview with Peter McCormack. So from the Peter McCormack show, I'm sure you've seen this as well. I actually retweeted it and commented on it, but I shouldn't have done it because that was, yeah, again, after the latest live stream, and I was quite wrecked already. So yeah, I should not tweet when I am when I've already spent all of my energy trying to Jester Max for my esteemed live audience. No, I'm joking. But yeah, anyway, I have meditated upon what he's saying, because this is what is on everyone's mind, basically. So I'm just gonna read what he's saying here. Americans and Europeans will not resist the mass immigration and population replacement. You know, the thought that they will grab their muskets or whatever. It won't happen at all. What will happen is exactly what happened in South Africa. They will just acknowledge that they've lost their power and their country forever, and then they will sit quietly in their houses and build more and more barbed wire and electric fences until finally they are exterminated in one big pogrom. That's the future. That's what will happen to your children. So, yes. What to say here? So, of course, he has a point. No real reason to, deny things as they are. We shouldn't, be overly optimistic or white-pilled to the point where we are closing our eyes to reality. So, I mean, that's to start with. But then again, so I've said in the past as well, I've made post about it on X. I've talked about it in videos. I have a few videos planned also, since we have the election coming up in Sweden, where we have the situation. So we have like two options. We have Brazil or South Africa if nothing changes. Now the difference is that, and this is also something you will be familiar with, the zeitgeist, the metapolitical situation. When South Africa, when they sort of dropped their power, so the whites in South Africa, the Boers in South Africa, when they said the game is up, so in the early 90s, the zeitgeist, the anti-white zeitgeist, was very, very strong. They had literally no support. I believe Israel helped them a bit because they were in a similar situation, with their, similar sort of structure with their relationship with the Palestinians. But otherwise, the South Africans, they didn't have anyone on their side. Same thing with Rhodesia. They didn't have anyone on their side because all whites in the world, they thought, what you're doing is wrong, you're so mean. But now, when we're looking across the world, I can talk to any guy in basically any country and we are on the same page in many ways. Actually, same thing. I could talk to many non-white guys all over the world and they understand completely what I'm saying, completely my perspective. So that's a big difference. So South Africa, they lost power. The whites in South Africa, they lost power because the rest of the world, they were not on their side. They didn't have any support. But if you look now, we have a quite decent community of pro-European guys all over the world. And, the zeitgeist is still very anti-white. Of course, we have a lot of work. We have a lot of work to do in that regard. But still, the zeitgeist, it's moving at least. So that is something to not be underestimated. Now, also, I understand when he's saying that, what did he say here? Let me reread again. Not having any balls. So Curtis Yarvin says the West has no balls now and will simply turn into South Africa. I wouldn't say that's true at all. I do think many of us, we have balls, but we also have brains, which means that we understand it's not a good idea to grab a musket now because we will be beaten by our own armies, basically. So whatever you do, do not do something violent. And this also, I've talked about being under psychological pressure for a long time. One of these things that has caused psychological pressure is the fear that some crazy guy will go and do something bad, simply put. So yeah, what he's saying there, please keep in mind that that will only put us further away from gaining any power. So the powers that be, they pray for some young guy grabbing his musket and playing the revolutionary. We need big balls, we need big brains. Big balls means to, have the courage to push our narrative forward, to go into politics, for example. It takes courage as well. Many of these things, they do take courage, but we also need to be intelligent about it. So when he says that the West has lost its balls, I don't really agree. I don't really agree at all. And, something to be said there. Now then, will it happen like it happened in South Africa? It all depends. Nothing is written in stone. That's also why I don't like Spengler so much. Perhaps you have listened to my podcast episodes. You followed me over this last few years. I was traumatized by Spengler. Now, okay, not really, I'm joking. It was somewhat pleasant to read Spengler. By the way, I'm rambling a bit, but stick with me for the entire stream and I will make sense. I'm just schizomax, I'm just throwing out some thoughts. So anyway, I read Spengler or Spengler to pronounce it in German. So he says that each civilization has, it goes in cycles. So spring, summer, autumn, winter. So then you have some doomers, black pillars. They say we are in the winter of our civilization, which it can be true if we believe in it. This is the essence of magical thinking, that whatever you think, it becomes reality. So whatever you think is going to happen, that might influence the events. So that is something to keep in mind. So two things can be true at the same time. Curtis Yarvin, he has a point. Yes, it's not looking bright. Let's be real. That is true. So he has a point there. But something else is also true, that we can change because we have the ability still. We have a free will. Thank God we have a free will, so we can influence events. So if it continues like this, yeah, for sure we will either turn into Brazil or South Africa. But still, we can change it. It is within our power to change it, and therefore we need to be intelligent, brave, driven, and my recipe here for success. And I know some other guys, they're agreeing with me here also. I've been thinking non-stop about these things for many years now. So that's why I encourage younger guys to go into institutions of power and then, leverage those institutions, that power in our favor. And then also, something to keep in mind here is that South Africa, the Bantu tribes there, so the African tribes there, they weren't there before the South Africans, but they're still native to Africa. They wandered down into what is today's the nation, the country of South Africa. They wander down, but they are native to the region, broadly speaking. They are thriving in the region. I'm looking out now in good old Sweden. I think that many guys, many non-European immigrants, they don't necessarily like being here. They would probably be a lot happier in, you know, in their home countries, because you have to be sort of, you have to love the land to want to live here, and I don't think they do. They don't love the land. They don't find it fun to, you know, be here in December. It's dark and cold, and you know, they live in not so nice areas. They don't love the Swedish people because they don't understand the Swedish people. They don't get it. They, you know, we have completely different social rules, social cues. They can speak the language, but, you know, it's still hard. So I don't think it's, I think many of them, given the opportunity, they would very much like to go home. So you have South Africa here, where you have had a group there. So the Zulus, for example, they've been in South Africa for like 300 years. They thrive in that sort of environment. And then you have in the cold, dark, like Finland, Sweden, Norway, even Ireland, or Britain, I would say that they the situation is a lot different. So we could do the following. We could install like a Swedish administration in some African countries, make it an appealing place to be, and then I'm sure many guys, many families in Europe, they would love to move back. So I'm not as black-pilled as Curtis Yarvin. I don't see it in that sense. So yeah, I mean, many new immigrant communities, they don't really have any love for the land. They don't have any deep ties here. So comparing that to the Zulu population or the other ethnic groups in South Africa, it's not a super good comparison, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, that is the first thing I wanted to say. I will also say that there will not be a popular uprising. There will be no, you know, grabbing the muskets or whatever. What will happen is that a new counter-elite will emerge. This is usually what happens. So the people at, you know, at large, they're, you know, going about their business, but a new elite will emerge. And this is also, here we can all help by creating a culture. So this is when I'm so happy about Agartha edits and everything like that, that we have a myth, an animating myth that brings out the best of us. And also, of course, the pan-European aspect of it all, it makes me extremely white-pilled. I will talk more about this later on, that, you know, we have, you know, this sense of being a civilization, being a people or a group of peoples connected through many, many centuries of blood, sweat, and tears. So, yeah, that about that. I will look at some super chats, and then I'm gonna talk a bit about the fact that it's the 8th of March, International Women's Day. Very humiliating thing for all women, to be honest, but we're gonna get into that in but a moment. So we're gonna see here, we're going to the power chat. One moment, I will have a sip of water. So we have the ultimate one. It says, so $10, thank you very much. What are your thoughts on gambling? I would definitely encourage everyone to stay well clear of gambling. I don't really see anything good coming out of it. You have the risk of losing a lot of money, and yeah, you don't want to get into that type of stuff. You can, if you like to take risks, there are other ways to do it. I suggest, you know, train some MMA, go on an MMA fight or something like that. Then you can at least get out something good, a good experience from it. But just gambling, it's, yeah, for me, if it were up to me, maybe I would ban it. I don't know. I need to look deeper into it. But for me, I've always been very much against all of that stuff. So yeah, that is my response there. Then we have, I see in the chat here, we have 4 chats, and 2 of them are from 2 very esteemed supporters. So we have Michael Behrens, and then we have Jean Frank. So I'll get to your contributions soon. We also have first here, we have, now let's see. Okay, it does not appear on the screen. I wanted to put it on the screen. Excuse my my technical issue here. It was easier on StreamYard, so I've changed the broadcasting software, so that's why. Anyway, I will read it. So we have Onyx Rock, $5. I will admit I am getting tired of Save Europa, America First, and the rest of the based phrases. Do we actually embody those sentiments? Yeah, that's a good question. It's a bit hard to say, to be perfectly honest. I would say that we do have many committed individuals. I can see here in Sweden, I can see all throughout Europe, we have so many, good souls out there willing to take heat risks. The regime is getting a bit desperate also. So I would say that many do embody those sentiments. Our goal, of course, is to get more people to embody those sentiments. I'm quite white-pilled. I see many young guys, they are locking in, they aren't really, they are rejecting degeneracy and everything like that. So, but yeah, of course you have many guys who are also not doing that. But overall, I'm quite white-pilled, to be honest, when it comes to the overall situation. So, to explain it in the following way, I'm black-pilled in the sense that the demographic and the political situation is not good, but I'm also white-pilled in the sense that we are decreasing in, the percentage of the population, but in doing so, we also get more serious. So I think the average 20-year-old guy now is better in many ways than 10 or 20 years ago, simply because they've grown up in a different setting, and that setting has made them a bit more, pro-European, so to speak. So, yeah. But yeah, thanks for the nice contribution. We have Bocephus, 517, $10. Thank you very much. Great Pale Orc, thank you for the great books. They have provided clear guidance when I needed it most. Also, South Africa is a warning to us. It doesn't have to be that way. P.S. Surprise flex. Boom! Surprise flex. That was a worthy surprise flex. I did it, I read it, and then I immediately I posted physique live on the stream. We're schizomaxing, we're cortisol maxing, we're talking geopolitics, politics, we're surprise flexing. Good times. It's fun doing these streams. I need to do it more often to do surprise flexes. So yeah, Great Pale Orc. That tells me that you have been with me for many years, which I absolutely appreciate. Always nice to hear from guys who have been with me for a good few years. So the Pale Orc is Azog the Defiler in The Hobbit, so the big white Pale Orc. And when I saw it, that was in the beginning of my YouTube career, so back in 2013, I thought, and I was so happy that I know this is many guys, they don't agree with me here, but for me at least, the Hobbit films, very, very close to my heart, because I loved Lord of the Rings growing up, and then this the trilogy, Hobbit trilogy came out, and I was like, thank you so much for just giving me a bit more dose of Tolkien in my life, and I just felt really motivated seeing that, especially the second film with Legolas, he's fighting with Azog's lieutenant, really high thumos stuff. So maybe I'm a bit unique. I know many guys, they don't like the Hobbit films, but I really, really love them. Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for reminding me of good times. So the Pale Orc. Fun thing, I actually played a game of Middle-earth strategy battle game about 2 weeks ago. So I made the Wild Hunt Challenge video, and I said to myself and to you all that I need to get into some sort of Warhammer game again to stay sane, so I don't go insane here. Maybe I go insane and then I have insanity streams. So instead of cortisol streams, you will have insanity streams where I just post the most unhinged schizo theories. But anyway, I played the game against the Pale Orc actually. So I had my Rohan models. I will take some pictures next gaming session. Now, I don't know when that will be, because I will lock in with the video production. But anyway, it was fun to play against the Pale Orc. I managed to kill him in the end, at least. So anyway, and yes, of course, as for the actual comment here, thank you for the great books. Yeah, I'm very happy to hear so. Always nice to hear people liking the books. That's my ambition, to write good books. And also, South Africa is a warning to us all. It doesn't have to be that way. Indeed, it doesn't have to be that way. We can fix it. So I hope I'm not saying too much now, but we have a good chance in Sweden this autumn. Let's all pray that the Sweden Democrats, they will get a good result. The moderates, they will get a good result, and they form a coalition again, and they start putting, steering Sweden in a better direction. Now, neither of these parties, they aren't, super based, they aren't super productive, they aren't super manly in the sense that they usually, go like this, and they don't want the left-wing media to call them mean names, but still, they're doing some good work. So we can hope, and then, we can be on a good course. Same thing in Denmark. You can look at Denmark. They were, on a negative, bad course, but now they are in a better situation, and now they have actually started to implement remigration policies. So it is fully possible that we can find a solution in, well, I'm not going to say easy, and I'm not going to say in the near future. It will be a long process, but still, there is hope at least. So anyway, thank you for the contribution. It is much appreciated. And then we have... Alright, I can put a heart on this super chat as well. I will do it. We will have here... So we have Michael Behrens. Shout out, long-time supporter. I always appreciate your support, Michael. And he says, so $50, very generous, thanks a lot. We love your example. Boyos Legio Gloria is the best clothing brand. Grab something, wear it proudly. Yes, thank you, Michael. It's much appreciated. And just as with the books, I like when people like the garments as well. Of course, rocking the Heimdall athletic garment. So this is if I want to look jacked in the gym, I put this on. I get a good pump, and then I can pose in the mirror. And when I film also, it looks good. So if you want to look jacked in the gym, you want to have this tight-fitting garment. So thank you for the contribution. Moving on to my man, my friend, my Czech friend, Jan Frank, who is a sensitive young man who he's been with me for many years, maybe 10 years actually now. And I will say the following, that he has gifted me with some nice Warhammer models over the years. So I actually have some here as well that I have saved. So it's actually one moment. I will show it to you all because it's a nice gesture. One moment. I need to show my appreciation for my man Jan here. He sent me this for Christmas. So it's a White Lion Lord. So anyway, I will save that and I will paint it when a certain opportunity presents itself. So until then it's there, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, Jan says, "Hey brother, I just wanted to say hi. You are great and love your work. Just join in Maxing, looks good. What is your top 3 favorite Horus Heresy legions? Keep up the good work. Love from Czechia." Thanks a lot for the super chat, and thank you for having been with me for so many years, Jan. I appreciate it. So this is fun. Usually this is really fun because I have like a few questions I always get. So it's like how to get jacked naturally in the gym. Do I have hope for European civilization? And then it's like, who's my favorite Primarch, or what are my favorite legions? So I would say I do like the word bearers. So by the way, you can see it there. Let's point. There it is. I'm not gonna do the soy face. I'm gonna do this just pointing. So those are my Horus Heresy books. So yeah, a bit of an autism moment. I've read all like 53 plus like 10 Siege of Terra books, but you know, I like to, if I embark upon something, I want to finish it. So yes, I have read all of those books, and I have gained a lot of joy and motivation from them. So anyway, the top 3 favorite legions. So I do like the word bearers. Now, for those of you who don't know, the word bearers are in the beginning sort of a religious oriented legion. Now the thing though is that the emperor, he is an atheist, so it's state enforced atheism, and any sign of religiosity is being, you know, cracked down upon. Now the fun thing, just as in our life here, atheism is a lie because you have gods, or rather demons, in the 40k universe, so the Horus Heresy universe. So he does not want these demons to get any strength at all, so he outlawed all worship because he doesn't want the worship to end up, you know, in the hands of the demons. So if a cultist in the 40k or Horus Heresy universe prays or does something that strengthens the demons in the warp or the immaterium. So anyway, the First Heretic is one of the books by Aaron Dembski-Bowden, perhaps my favorite book in the whole series, and that details the, you know, sort of, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but they begin with, you know, worshipping the emperor as a god, and he doesn't like it, so he sends the Ultramarines to destroy a planet of theirs, Monarchia it was called. So quite a fun thing. They love the emperor so much, they worship him almost like a god, and he said, no religion, we're atheists here, so he sends another legion to destroy them, and they are sort of, you know, sad, sensitive young men, sensitive Lorgar Aurelian, and then they find the Chaos Gods, and they become sort of Chaos worshippers. So I really like the story, at least, so I've always liked the Word Bearers, simply because that book is so good, it's so good. I need to reread it to, I actually have up. Yeah, I will do it. I will show you what I have here. One moment. I'm really engaging with the audience today, I feel. So that is a piece of art. So that is the cover of the book itself. So the First Heretic. So yeah, that's the one legion I like there. And then I would say the Emperor's Children also, and that is they become corrupted by chaos, by Slanesh. So you have pre-heresy Fulgrim, and I'm sure you've seen the picture of me that a fine Romanian artist, Alex Christie, shout out if you're watching this, he painted me as Fulgrim, so really cool. You will know the picture when you see it. So it's sort of like my face, and then a purple armor, and then I'm stretching out my arms, and then flames are going up. So yeah, I'm debating with myself whether I should reach out to him and ask him if he could do me as Sanguinius as well. If I may be so bold, I know perhaps I'm asking for too much, because quite a bit of time must have gone into creating that artwork. But it would be cool to have me as Sanguinius as well. So anyway, second legion would be the Emperor's Children, so focus on perfection. And that book also, in the Horus Heresy, one of my favorites, top 5 as well. Yeah, it details Fulgrim and his him being corrupted by chaos. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's a good book. This is a Horus Heresy stream. You thought we were gonna talk about politics, you thought we were gonna talk about the survival of European civilization, but we're talking about Horus Heresy instead. Good times, good times. So then the third one, by the way, I might change my mind. So if you ask me again in like a month, I might have changed my mind. This is the only thing I ever changed my mind about. It's what sort of favorite legions and primarchs I have. Probably Blood Angels, I would say. So the Blood Angels, their Primarch is Sanguinius, which is like the best and most holy and most good, if you will, of the Primarchs. So yeah, an angel, and he has his Blood Angels, also appropriately named, and they have a sort of flaw in them, in the gene seed, that they can succumb to the Black Rage or Black Thirst, either one of those, and then they sort of go berserk. So that's good. But yeah, keep up the good work. Love from Czechia. Love back, John. Thanks for checking in, and thank you for the contribution. And I hope you, appreciated the answer. Jonas Friberg. Wow, very generous contribution. 2,000 crowns. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. My utmost respect for you, Golden Lion. Hope we can help to lighten your burden a little bit. Keep going. Yeah, absolutely. That is extremely appreciated. You know, it definitely helps on a practical level. It helps a lot, and also on a psychological level, to know that I'm not alone. That's really nice to have that sensation that you're not alone. So yeah, thanks a lot for the sentiment. Thanks a lot for the contribution. It's very appreciated. Moving on to Joe Gaskins, 10 British pounds. Hello there, mate. Really enjoying the streaming. Favorite Lord of the Rings character? I require a 10,000 word essay or Castro-length speech. P.S. League of Glory underwear is great. Would recommend. Yes, okay, I will, one day I will probably do it. 10,000 word essay, I could probably do it. Yeah, this is also like one of these things that I like to think about so much, so I would actually say, again, ask me again in a month and I might have changed my mind, because it depends on what sort of mood I am in. But usually I say Eomer, because when I was 14, I admit I'm sweating a bit here, but it's all good. I'm getting pumped up talking about these things, so it's all good. Second workout for the day. I did some bench press earlier also. So I would say Eomer, and that is based on when I saw the film, The Two Towers. So I saw the Fellowship of the Ring when it came out, I believe in late 2001, and then the year after I read the books, and then in 2002, if I'm not completely mistaken, the second film came out, and the one scene really resonated with me. So he says the orcs are roaming unchecked, unchallenged through our land, and he is the bad guy. So, you know, it's sort of, he's just like me. Yeah, Eomer is just like me. Now, you know, I identify as Eomer. You can call me Eomer if you want. No, but in all seriousness, it feels so much like the situation we are in at the moment. You have, you know, gruesome stuff happening, and then someone like me is the bad guy. It's just, it feels a bit. But anyway, he does some great deeds for his people anyway, and I like the way he looks also. So yes, I would also say Glorfindel. So by the way, in the book, so you can see the book up there, you have Lord of the Rings. So they sort of replaced Glorfindel with Arwen in the films, which is, you know, I love the films. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them. It would have been cool perhaps to have Glorfindel in the films as well. He is cool in the book. Maybe next stream I think about doing the following. So I think about doing the following. I'm gonna say, please confirm immediately if I remind you of, and then I'm gonna give the quote. So Glorfindel was tall and straight. Let me actually pull it up now. Okay, I need you to confirm something for me, my esteemed audience. Confirm immediately if I remind you of this quote. Glorfindel was tall and straight. His hair was of shining gold, his face fair and young and fearless and full of joy. His eyes were bright and keen, and his voice like music. On his brow sat wisdom, and in his hand was strength. That quote goes hard. It's one of my favorite quotes, actually. Now, of course, you know, I'm sitting here, my pale orc winter form, so my hair isn't really golden. It's over for me. They constructed, Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates, they constructed a special 5G cloud to disable the sun from reaching my hair, so it's not golden. That's my schizo theory. No, I'm just joking. It always happens during winter. I might have mentioned it before, so that's why. But yeah, I will get in, spring is coming, I will be out tanning a bit, and then I will get back to my Glorfindel form. So then I'm gonna check in the next stream. Instead of checking the audio, instead of asking you to confirm immediately the audio, I'm gonna ask you to confirm immediately if I look like Glorfindel or not. So yeah, I think I would say those two. So in just based on that quote and his appearance in the book, I would say Glorfindel. In the films, I would probably say Eomer. Then of course I also like Sam also. And Legolas, I would say in The Hobbit I like Legolas best because he's a bit more high thumos there. And then also I will say that we have here in somewhere in my fine library, we have the Children of Hurin, and then we have Turin Turambar. And I will say the following actually, that Lord of the Rings, beginning of it, so the first 100 pages, it's quite light-hearted, to be honest. It gets more serious later on, but in the beginning of the book, it is not as grimdark. So forgive my heresy here, but I actually prefer the films for that reason, because it's more serious and a bit more grimdark from the beginning. Now, Children of Hurin is a tragic book. Beautiful, very beautiful. I need to reread it, but I need to do it in autumn. Such is my autism that I need to time when I read a certain book. So Tolkien, it feels a lot like autumn. So I like that. Turin Turambar, tragic hero. Such as myself, he's just like me, a tragic hero. No, I'm just posting for. I'm just gesture maxing now. But anyway, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. And yeah, the underwear are great. Good stuff, good stuff. We have Lu Lin. Would you ever collab with... So, €6. Thanks a lot. And I do believe you're checking in from good old Ireland. Would you ever collab with Survive the Jive again? Also, what is your favorite Barrow holy site to visit in Sweden? Yeah, I mean, Tom is a good friend. I will probably meet up with him this year. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna send him a message after this stream. I'm gonna say, my man Lu Lin, he wants you to confirm immediately that you want to do a collab with me. So yeah, it's always a pleasure. He's so knowledgeable, and he is not only knowledgeable in terms of academia, but he's also a practitioner of paganism, and very much, he's a bit more autistic than I am. Funnily enough, I've been autism maxim big time in this stream, and he's even more autistic when it comes to many of these things. I'm a bit more towards the magical or schizo thing, where I'm just going with the flow when it comes to religiosity a bit more. I'm a bit more syncretic, a bit more open, but he's more pure in his religiosity. So anyway, a wealth of knowledge. I will definitely try to make some sort of content. We'll see. Maybe we'll even go together to visit some sort of sacred site in Scandinavia. I wish I could go to England. I really wish I could, but honestly, I don't really feel like gambling. I don't really feel like taking the chance, and then I will be detained on Heathrow and then sent back. But yeah, someday at least, when Rupert Lowe, he takes power in England, and then he says, okay, Golden One, you can come over, you can make your pilgrimage, and then I will go and look at all of the sites. I've only been in England twice, and only for a weekend each, so there is so much for me to see there. What is your favorite barrow and holy site to visit in Sweden? So Julie and I, we go to an Iron Age grave field quite often, so that's sort of our place. Last time we were there, we were met by some bulls. We actually thought they were cows at first, and then they, kept coming closer, and then they don't really look like cows, and they're quite inquisitive. So yeah, we said, okay, well, let's not go any further in here. But it was a fun experience anyway. So we have, plenty of places around here where I'm at, so much magical energies. So, speaking of Survive the Jive, I was with him. He interviewed me, I think this was back in 2020 or something like that. He interviewed me in front of, some mounds as well, that I go to sometimes. So, yeah, I can make a video on it, actually. I can show those. We have Gamla Uppsala as well, so Old Uppsala, where you have the grave mound, so 3 big ones to Frey, Odin, and Thor. They haven't excavated, and this is also like, should they excavate or not? Leave the dead be? Who knows? It would be interesting to see who might be buried there, but yeah, we'll see. So plenty of cool places, but I would say that our special secret Iron Age grave field is one of those. So anyway, thank you for the nice contribution. We have Ahab. $5. Thank you, Ahab. Much appreciated. Why did you never try Olympic weightlifting? I'm getting into it right now, and the speed gains are very real. The technique is hard but rewarding too. Well, I did actually. I did back in the day, back when I lived in Uppsala, because we had a club there. So they did Olympic lifting. One of the top guys in Sweden, he actually trained there, and powerlifting. So I did try, and I think you can even see on some videos that I have, Olympic lifting. The issue is the following, though, that if you do a clean, the technique is similar enough to a deadlift, but still a bit different. So it's hard, at least I found it hard to get good at both at the same time. So it was like, either I do Olympic lifting or I do powerlifting. If I do both, the techniques sort of interfere with each other. Think of it in the following way, that if you have like boxing and you have Thai boxing, the technique similar enough but still different. So the way you stand in boxing, for example, you stand sort of with your leg twisted in. If you do that in Thai boxing, you're gonna get kicked really hard, so you can't really stand. So it's similar enough to confuse, but yeah, not close enough to I hope that made sense. So anyway, the point is that when I did Olympic lifting, I tried it, I did some sessions, but I felt that if I do, I mess up my progression in the deadlift. So, but yeah, I can recommend it. It's good stuff. I know many MMA guys, they do Olympic lifting as well because of the explosion. You train your explosiveness, a big deal. So thank you, Ahab, for the contribution. It's much appreciated. We have from Mess777, checking in from our esteemed and beloved neighbor to the west, aka Norway. Seems like Europeans lack real community. Muslims meet every week to build communities wherever they go. What is your vision for how European life will look when we win? Individualism or community? Yeah, I will say the following. That I do envy the Muslims. This is not something strange to admit. It's perfectly reasonable to admit. I do envy these Muslims coming together for, prayers every Friday. It's something we are lacking. I wish I had a recipe here to give out. But yeah, community. Could we have something like that, we would be in a lot better situation, because not only in terms of community, not only in terms of, feeling good, but also in terms of organizing politically. So you have in these mosques, if you have one mosque and the imam says, okay, we're gonna vote for this party, that is power, and that is why they can wield a lot of political power in the West, because they vote and they act politically as one block, one community. I wish whites could do that. But also, let's be real. Let's give credit where credit is due. I have said about Sneeko, for example. Also a streamer. We're the streaming elite now. It's me and Nick Fuentes. We're the top guys. Nick Fuentes, look at me. I'm the top streamer now. No, I'm joking. Maybe one day. But anyway, I've said about Sneeko, he posts about people hate Islam because this and that, and then I say, people hate Islam because of, Islam has been an enemy for many people, both in the Buddhist East and in the West. I talked about in yesterday's podcast about Viratu and their struggles against Islam there. So anyway, I want to say something they do well, and that is something they do well. And that is why you have gingers in, so red-haired guys in Britain, they convert to Islam. And you know, let's analyze the situation. Let's be real. Why do they do that? Yeah, because they have a community. They have a community. If you're alone, which so many guys are, so many Western guys, they are completely alone. They don't really have anyone. They don't have a community. They don't have anyone who gives them a hug. Here, sit down, share a meal with us. Let's pray to God together. And then someone, a Muslim guy, says to you, come with us to the mosque, and then we go to, you know, celebrate Ramadan. We're gonna fast, and then we're gonna eat in the evening. I understand perfectly well that some guys, they want to join that community. So if you don't have anyone, yeah, then you will go to such a community. So yeah, definitely, let's also look at what we can do better ourselves. And we are in a bit of a tricky situation. You know, I'm not a Christian, so for me it would be hard to say to people to go to Sunday Mass. And also it's like you're gonna be there with a priest who says that we need to open borders. I know this is the case. I know Uberboy, he made a video, no, not a video, he made a post about it like 1.5 years ago. He said, I went to Sunday Mass and the priest was just woke maxing and talking about white guilt and everything like that. Same thing in Sweden. You know, they're very anti-Swedish, the Swedish church. So for me to encourage people to, even without any consideration for the theology of it all, whether Jesus Christ is the Son of God, all of these considerations, without those, we can still say that the church is very bad for us. It's a bad actor, so can't really say to guys to meet up there. But this is why we have, you know, the community aspect, trying to train together. So yeah. It's a bit of a bad situation, but it's worth thinking about. So what I've done over the years, perhaps some of you even showed up to some of my MMA trainings that my man Jonas and I were hosted back in the day. Perhaps I should restart that actually, just get a sense of community going. So now what I do is the occasional, like Saturday, I invite a group of guys and then we train together and yeah, have a good time like that. But yeah, community, super important, because a human, we're not supposed to be alone. We're not supposed to, to be alone ever. We need our community, we need our group. A woman needs her family, a man needs his Männerbund. So, yeah. So, individualism or community. Community is always good. Always good. So, yes, thank you. I need to give hearts to all of the comments here also. So I'm scrolling through now and I'm giving hearts so that you all know that I appreciate your support. All right, and then we have JC off the corn, $10. Thank you. No comment though, but yeah, thanks for the contribution. Then we have L. Reudsin, £5 sending support. Have you kept your eye on the recent historic landslide in Japan? Required hiring of Japanese nationals and language requirements, etc. So far. Yeah, I have looked into it a bit, and this is white pilling. Of course, I think Japan is doing absolutely the right way. To not rely on, because they also have an aging demographic, and this is something you hear a lot. We have an aging demographic, so therefore we need to bring in all of these migrants to take care of our needs. Now Japan, they've had a lot of immigration as of late. Perhaps you've seen. I haven't been to Japan myself, so I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but you can just look at, you know, plenty of videos coming out from there where you have a lot of immigration, but they've said this is not for us. And why can they say this is not for us in an easier way than the West, you might ask? Yes, it's because of that they haven't been subject to the same guilt from the Second World War. They haven't gotten the same guilt from not only the Second World War, we would have the same sort of story anyway because of slavery, colonialism, everything like that. So since they don't have that guilt, they have... So I mentioned this in a recent video. I suppose most of you have watched it. I said why I will not leave Sweden, and I said the most important thing I can do is to reshape people's brains. Please don't take this out of context, then people think I'm crazy saying that I want to reshape people's brains. I want to reshape how people think. I want to reshape how especially white people think. So Japanese people, for example, they have not been subject to the same rewiring of how they think. So in the West, and this, I'm gonna give you an example here. Say 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we had in Sweden, you had Sweden Democrats, so they're supposed to be nationalists, and I will admit myself to my great shame, I've used this argument myself. I will admit to my esteemed audience, I have used this argument. I said, you know what, if we help them in their own home countries, we can help more of them. Now analyze that statement. So instead of bringing people to Sweden to help them, we give more money to help them there because the money goes longer. So the framing here, the framing of my brain when I say that is, how can we help them? The emphasis is on helping them. It's not about helping ourselves. It's not about what is good for us. Now, the Japanese, they have not suffered, as far as I know at least, they have not suffered the rewiring of their brain that causes them to ask what is good for these other guys. So what I want to do now is to rewire everyone's brain to think what is good for the Swedish people, what is good for the English people, what is good for the Irish people. Should I move to Ireland? It's good, because then you get to partake in my unfathomable levels of juiciness. I do love Ireland. It's a good place. But anyway, the point here is that if you look at something like immigration, what is good for us? Is it good for me to move to Ireland for the Irish? Yeah, it is good. Is it good for third world immigration to come to Ireland? No, it's not so good. So you see here the rewiring of how you think. So anyway, the Japanese, they can act quicker because they don't have to contend with first rewiring how they think. So this is Metapolitics, by the way. Martin Sellner made a really good post about an analogy of a spaceship, that the spaceship, it needs to be, you know, the code that is in there, it needs to be replaced. Otherwise the spaceship, it will keep you know, the crew, the spaceship code, it's tyrannizing the crew, and you know, the new passengers are able to run amok because the code hasn't been updated for it. So anyway, a bit of a rambling there. My point is that when I say zeitgeist, metapolitical endeavors, how you think, it matters hugely when it comes to politics. So when we have succeeded in reshaping the way people think, it will be easier to propose things. Then we can say, you know, we want remigration because it's good for our guys. But if you think still in the way that what is good for these other individuals, then it will be really hard to sell in remigration. So anyway, I hope that was a somewhat good response to the question. All right. We're gonna look at, so this is from the YouTube super chat, and I'm looking here on Power Chat as well. I've gotten some questions here. Thanks a lot, by the way, everyone who your questions. It's really nice. So we have Skinny Gamer 14, €5. Thank you very much. Hello, Golden One. I am a 21-year-old male in the low hundreds, and I'm wondering what the best way to gain weight would be. I've been skinny my whole life, pretty much, but I've managed to put on some muscle. I want to turn things around and set a good example. Yes, so what you need to do is to drink as much milk as possible. You look at me, my physique, this is milk, this is dairy, this is built on milk, I can tell you. So yeah, so it's easy calories as well. You can just drink a lot. then also you need to force your body to put on muscle. And you can only do that in the following way, that you go into the gym and you say, I have this plan, this particular day I'm gonna do 1 rep more than I did last time. So find a schedule. You can get one from me, or you can find, for free online. I'm sure you can even ask ChatGPT or Grok to write you a schedule. So what you want to do is, so I have this question as well. It's usually like favorite Horus Heresy character and then how to get jacked. So we're getting to this question now. So you want to have the basic compound movement. So bench press, deadlifts, squats, military press, rows, chins, dips. That is your base, the foundation of your schedule. And then you make sure to get stronger or do more reps for every single session. That is the way. And then, when you train a lot and the body, it grows, the hunger comes automatically. You will eat more, you will be able to perform better, and then it's sort of like a positive spiral upwards. So that is the only reasonable course of action. So, and yeah, thank you for the contribution. Then we have Anonymous, $3. $3 as well, thank you. Golden one, should I get a job if I've never had one? Or is that not based in trad? I don't want to be a slave to money, but I also don't have many life skills. Is it over for me? Zoomer here. Is it over for you? I don't know if it's over for you, man. I don't know. Let's see again. Let's see. How old are you? You don't say how old you are. It's never over. It's fun to say it's over, but it's not over for you. Just get a job somewhere, and then you try to level up as much as possible in other ways. So yeah, get a job is always good. Try to, if you're in that situation, if you have a family, you're sort of stuck in one place, or you need to bring your family with you. If you're a young guy, go and work at some oil rig in the middle of the ocean or something. Good pay, and then you can bring some books, bring some Warhammer models to paint, something like that, and then you come back and do something else. You can do something like this. Okay, I'm not sure if I can give you life advice. Maybe I will get into trouble if I do. But anyway, I'm just giving you a hypothetical scenario here. You go and you work in an oil rig for like half a year. And then you go back, you live from your savings, and you train like MMA every day, and you read books, and you paint Warhammer or something like that. I don't know, sounds good. Let me know if it's something you would like to do. But yeah, look at like fun jobs. Look what sort of jobs you can work in a mine in Siberia or something. So use the imagination, do something fun, do something epic. But yeah, anyway, it's not over for you. I am rooting for you. And then we have your local wood elf, $3. Thank you. Not a question, but an observation. I feel there's a big vacuum on the Swedish podcast scene for more right-wing podcasts. There's been a few, but far from what you see in other countries. Hope to see more soon. A local wood elf. Always good to hear from my wood elf brothers. I'm a high elf myself, so elven brotherhood. Yeah, we do have Chris Dulny. I know he doesn't do the Vita Pillret, the white pill anymore, but we do have Dan and Magnus och Svegot. I think they, I listen to them every once in a while. They have good insights. I trust both. Don, especially Don Eriksson, he is, I always listen to him. Sometimes we disagree, but I always listen to him. I always appreciate his insights. I think I will actually do a stream with Don, so I can introduce him. So he has very good insights on European politics, Swedish politics, German politics. So, yeah. That is my plan. So I will invite Don, and we will talk about some of the upcoming elections in good old Germany. It can be interesting because Germany is sort of. I know Martin Sellner, he now posts more in English, but otherwise it's sort of, since they speak German, of course, it's sort of hard sometimes to stay updated unless you speak German yourself to stay updated on what is going on there. But anyway, we were talking about Sweden now. So yeah, big vacuum on the Swedish podcast scene for more right-wing podcasts. perhaps I should start something. No, I don't think so. I don't have the time to do even more right now. My schedule is cortisol maxed. It's up here. So yeah. But anyway, good times. Thank you, my local wood elf, for that. And then we go back to, let's see here. We have Bruce Lee fan, €5. Thank you very much. Kaiser of all Germanic people, what's your thought about Bathory, the best metal band on this planet? This is not a coincidence. It cannot be a coincidence. I was at the gym like 2 hours ago, or 3 hours ago now. Shout out to my man Eric. And we talked about Bathory. No joke, he literally said that. And I said, yeah, I've heard some songs about it. So we actually talked about Bathory, the metal band. I do believe I have some in my Spotify list. I can't really name any songs from the top of my head, but I do believe they have some good songs at least. So yeah, I would say a thumbs up on that metal band. Now, since both I heard it in the gym earlier today and I heard it now, I need to, well, perhaps not now, because after the stream I will drift off to sleep. But tomorrow I think I will do deadlifts in the gym, and then I will listen to Bathory. So yeah, thank you for the contribution, and yeah, I will check in with me next stream, and then I promise to you that I will have listened to 5 Bathory songs, and then maybe I have a new favorite band. Who knows? So I'm giving you a heart here as well. I hope you appreciate it. John Frank again, 200 Czech currency, gold coins. Bit heretical, but it's alright. Okay, real not Tylenol-fueled question. What's your take on the situation in Iran? I know you are a fellow Erenshar enjoyer. Eomer is based, but I always imagine you as Alith Anar. Yeah, so if you just checked in, my man John here, he asked a while back about my favorite legions in the Horus Heresy, and I said the Word Bearers and then the Emperor's Children, and they're both heretics. So please don't report me to the Inquisition. Don't take a clip of this and report me to the Imperial Inquisition. Then I will have the Adeptus Custodes here. Then I will have to escape into an alternative dimension to escape the Inquisition. But yeah, the situation in Iran. So I talked a bit about this in the last stream as well. I said, you know, I don't know enough about the situation to give a comment. So of course we have like 3 things. We have the more romantic dreamer situation, where I do like Iran or Persia as a historical empire. I do am an admirer. I would like to see the Shah back in power. I would like to, you know, see Zoroastrianism be brought back, Mithra as well. So you have Mithra, which is the sort of Persian version of Mithras, which is the Roman version. So same god. This is an academic argument as well, if it's exactly the same god or whatever, but I'm a friend and fan of both Mithras and Mithra. So anyway, that is the more romantic dreamer response. Of course we would like that. Then we have the sort of like real, back to the non-dreaming, sort of more sober analysis, and that is, my only wish is that the trade lanes do not get interrupted. My main concern now, like in all honesty, is that I don't want living expenses to increase for normal European or American families. That's my main concern. So whichever outcome leads to cheaper gas, cheaper food, cheaper commodities, sounds a bit materialistic, but we're in such a situation where, you know, I've talked about this myself, so many other guys, you know, struggling to feed their children good food. It's like, it shouldn't have to be this way. It doesn't need to be this way. But I also know that should the Iranians, you know, they could cause a lot of damage to sort of the world economic system. It's a quite fragile system. So we talked about this in the gym as well, actually, about the, you know, commodity prices. So if you have one thing that is getting more expensive, if you have oil, that it will influence everything else. Or electricity, the price of electricity. That will influence exactly everything else. So, the production of whatever it might be. If the electricity and if oil prices are higher, the production cost will be higher as well. So anyway, that is my take on the Iran situation. So again, not something super super enlightening response perhaps, but yeah, I haven't looked into it all too much, to be honest. And then John also says, Eomer is based, but I always imagine you as Alith Anar. So Alith Anar is a high elf in Warhammer. Also, I have a book here about him, very good book. So also tragic hero, dark-haired though, but he's cool also. So doesn't quite look like me. I can't say he's literally me, unfortunately. I can't say he's just like me, but it's a cool hero at least. So we're quite... if you're an enjoyer of Warhammer, the old world, you will probably know who he is. So sort of guerrilla stealth operation individual. But yes, thank you, John. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I appreciate that you imagine me as Alith Anar. I am, in a sense, I changed my mind here. I changed my mind, and I will say he is just like me, because he's also like sort of a rebel fighting against the regime. Perhaps regime is a bit of it's not the correct word to say, but yeah, he is fighting against the dark elves at least. So sorry for the autism here. Me and John were autism maxing and yeah, in front of this entire stream. Anyway, thank you, John, much appreciated, and yeah, I will try to imbue the spirit of Alith Anar. High IQ Reed. Nice name. Yeah, it's fun. It's good fun. High IQ retard. 10 Canadian dollars there. Are you familiar with the works of Uncharted X, Randall Carlson, Space Weather News, and the Thunderbolt Project? This put together give perspective on the story of Atlantis and other. Thank you first and foremost, High IQ retard. I hope I'm not getting into trouble for using the R word here, but if anyone is looking, I'm only quoting a name here. So anyway, you're getting a heart, and you're getting a response here from me as well. Yes, I do. I do have looked into Randall Carlson specifically. So I talked about the fingerprints of the gods a while back. Last year I also made a podcast episode about it, and for those of you who don't know, Randall Carlson is a friend of Graham Hancock, and he is sort of his source when it comes to the Younger Dryas catastrophe. See, they're attacking my tongue here via brainwaves. They have a special operations center. They see that I'm about to distribute valuable knowledge here, so they attack me to cause me to not be able to speak properly. No, I'm just schizo posting for fun. But yeah, anyway, he showed, and you can look at the Netflix show, the only good thing Netflix has ever done, probably, Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse. So they go to, I believe it's Idaho, I might be mistaken, some state in the west of the US, and they look at the flood. So where the flood sort of went through the environment there. So Randall Carlson, he is looking at that. So he sort of vindicated the theory of an ice age ecological catastrophe, which is really interesting, to be honest. So, as I said before, Graham Hancock, he has many theories. Maybe the final analysis is not completely correct, but many of his takes are correct, such as this, as far as I understand it, at least as far as I've looked at it. And yeah, you can go and look at Randall Carlson's videos also. The Younger Dryas, the floods, the catastrophe is real. It can be traced. So maybe that was what led to the legends of floods. Who knows? I'm not aware of Space Weather News. I might have a look at that. Uncharted X, I've seen some videos of. So last year I had my sort of Graham Hancock and Ancient Civilization arc. I might get back to it to see if they have any new insights. Super interesting as well. And I will say the following, that my heart hopes that they are right about all of this. My heart hopes that they're right about the pyramids being some sort of energy centers, and that there are, all of these cool schizo things. I hope they're real. My brain says maybe not, but who knows? We will see. I'm keeping an open mind at least. So anyway, thank you for the contribution, much appreciated. And we're moving forward with the next question here. We're gonna see here. So we have another one from Power Chat Live, and we have Anonymous, $14. Thank you very much for that indeed. Hello, Golden One, how are you? Well, I'm quite good now that I'm streaming. Actually, it feels better. I felt a bit bad earlier today. I felt a bit, cortisol maxed and everything like that. Felt a bit bad. But now seeing, the engagement, we're posting here, we're talking, about interesting stuff. So I'm happy now at least. Then tomorrow is Monday. Maybe I won't feel so good then, I don't know, but for now I feel good. So he says, I have a question on race. If I'm mixed but still over 50% white, do I have a place in the European movement? I identify more with my European roots, but I know that the talk of purity is a big thing, so it feels bad. So my perspective here is that we are in a situation where it's literally life or death. For me to worry about if someone is mixed raced or not, it's not really top of my concern, to be perfectly honest. It's not like it's not a trend. If we have a trend that is going in one direction, that we have a system which makes the average white guy unable to create a family because he's being taxed to death, because of female hypergamy, because of the property prices being, through the roof, he can't find any place, he's being discriminated from work, from academia, from positions in society. So that is what I'm fighting against now. If someone is mixed raced and who wants to support the cause for justice, I'm all happy. I'm happy that you support my initiative now. So that's my perspective there. So I've gotten this question many times over the years from mixed race guys who feel a bit lost. And I usually say that, focus on, you have been dealt, a dilemma in your life, which, can't feel good. This is what I've heard a lot also when these guys reach out to me, that it doesn't feel good. So, which I completely understand. But I also want to say that for me, if I'm looking at the situation now, very desperate situation, if I can get support, I'm happy for the support. So we're looking at the trajectory of civilization. Whether someone is mixed race or not is not really of my concern at the moment. My concern is to reshape how people think and to restructure the system so that we can actually get to, a better situation. So this also, I might as well respond to something similar about non-Europeans in Europe. Because someone criticized me maybe for if I am, if I'm collaborating with a non-European, but that non-European might be good for the Swedish people still. So if we have like the main goal, a long-term goal for Sweden to be in 100 years as powerful and healthy as possible, with as many like beautiful children as possible, beautiful also with blue eyes and blonde hair. To get to that stage, we need to win politically. Can we get support from guys, be they from wherever in the world? He might also want this to happen. You might be mixed race, you also want this to happen. That's perfectly congruent. That's perfectly possible. There is no, they aren't mutually exclusive. So that is why we can't really be, obsessing about stuff like that. We have a very crystal clear struggle in front of us. And if you want to support, then I'm all happy. I'm happy for it. So, I hope that responds to the question at hand. And I know the talk of purity is a big thing, so it feels bad. Here's also something to think about. Like, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect either. It is what it is. Focus on getting, leveling yourself to be a good person, and you will feel better also. So yeah, hopefully that was somewhat insightful. Then we have Anonymous. $100. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Brighter days ahead. Yeah, I hope so. Maybe one day things will brighten up. Let us see. We have here. So I'm switching back and forth from the YouTube super chat and the power chat online here. So that's why you see me clicking on the screen here. We're looking at Bruce Lee fan again, €5. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Glorfindel is modeled after you or you are modeled after Glorfindel. Do you know that picture where Glorfindel visits his own grave? I will have to look immediately. That sounds absolutely epic. All right. Yeah, okay, the first one, it comes up at Facebook here. Yeah, it looks epic. There's also an epic Lord of the Rings Warhammer model I see here. Yeah, I believe Tolkien, he anticipated my reincarnation and he wrote Glorfindel to celebrate my birth. I believe his spirit. So he predicted the future and decided to write Glorfindel in my honor. Yeah, that's my schizo theory to glorify myself. But yeah, Glorfindel, I like I like that elf. So thank you for the kind words. It motivates me, and thank you for the contribution. I'm giving you a heart there as well. Then we have Aldor Bana, £5 Thank you very much indeed. What natural foods, snacks would you recommend for high and easy healthy calories, which is not dairy? Protein intake is fine. My thoughts went immediately to cashew nuts. So that's something I would recommend. Quite good, quite nice. Various nuts, I would say. So that is, high calorie and easy you can bring on the go as well. And you can also mix it in some other things. So I would say nuts. All sorts of nuts. I'm giving you a heart there as well. And then we're scrolling. John Frank again. Thank you. One last question. Do you know and enjoy Great Dane 46.9? Very based and esoteric man. Thanks for everything, Marcus. I think I do know. If I see a picture, I need to double check. You can remind me. Send me a message on Instagram. Perhaps you can share him there if his account there if you have it, and then I will have a look. And then next time I will say what a based and esoterically knowledgeable man this Great Dane is. So yeah, I don't know him yet, but I'm sure I will enjoy his work. 1 cent man, $5. What ordinary jobs have you had before you became an author and clothing designer? So my what I have is from studies, so like high school, then into the army, then into studies, and then extra jobs during my studies. So that was like a gardening assistant, so just for summer. So when I was studying in the normal year, during the summer, gardening assistant. Then later on, the years after, I worked in a supplement store. And yeah, then I've done some, of course, back in the day, I was also monetized on YouTube, believe it or not. And then my expenditure, like my monthly expenditure, was really, really low. So I lived a very frugal life, but I didn't mind because I only made YouTube videos and went to the gym. So yeah, these were innocent and good and simple times. Sort of miss it sometimes. But yeah, so that's my sort of normal. And then the odd jobs here and there. but nothing in particular. Thank you for the contribution. 200 Danish crowns. You see here, look, no comment, but I want to say thank you. We're having a Swedish man here, we're having a Danish man, and we're collaborating. It's great. European unity. For those of you who don't know the reference, we've been at war with Denmark for like, I don't know, is it 15 times, something like that? So bloody history with Denmark, but now we're friends, now we're on the same side. Moving on, we have Ahab again. Thank you again, much appreciated. Would you do another collab or interview with Uberboyo when he drops his book? Last one in winter of 2024 was easily your best public appearance, in my opinion. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Uberboyo is, I consider him a good friend as well. You know, we talk often enough, and I look forward to meeting him. I will endeavor to get him to come to good old Sweden, and we'll do some sort of collab again. So yeah, I mean, next time our paths cross, then yeah, we will do some sort of collab for sure. Maybe we'll even do some sort of live stream, or I will just, you know, put up a camera somewhere. I will say the following though, that when we did our interview in the studio, for some reason I looked strange in my face and he looked strange in his face. So he looked sort of bloated and I looked just strange. I looked at myself in the video afterwards. Like the content, what we said, super good. I'm happy with my performance, but something was off with the camera that made him look bloated and I looked a bit off. So, but otherwise, in terms of like what the conversation, it was good. So yeah, anyway, thank you for the contribution. And yes, I will definitely do more content with Uberboyo, one of the best channels, if not the best channels on YouTube. We have Reimer, $5. Thank you very much. What's up, man? How are things in Sweden? Are the normies starting to wake up to the migrant problem? Congrats on your growing family. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, big time, big time. This is like, you have to be Swedish to truly understand the level of red pilling. So if you have been living through, and also like you have to be, say if you are like an 18-year-old guy or a 20-year-old guy checking in from Sweden, you don't really know it either. You have to be like over 30, I suppose, to really have lived through probably the most like rapid awakening in human history. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but for me it's like, I've said this before, back in the day, you said you supported the Sweden Democrats and everyone was like, whoa, what are you doing, hombre? What are you doing? Are you a demon worshipper? You are crazy, you know. But now you can say to anyone, I support the Sweden Democrats, I want to deport foreign criminals, and everyone's like, yeah, based, cool, I agree. So you can talk to anyone really, including immigrants also, because they're quite fed up. Everyone is sort of fed up with the situation. But yeah, the left is still very strong in Sweden, so it's a bit of a 50-50 split almost. But back in the day, like saying 2010, it was something completely different. I still remember back in the day when I was studying in Uppsala and I said I supported the Sweden Democrats, and everyone was like, yeah, you could touch the air. It was so tense. But anyway, completely different now. So I would say that the normies are waking up big time. Still plenty of work to do, a lot of work to do still, but we're getting there. We have Burntsy, my esteemed supporter from X, from Twitter. I'm giving you a heart and a thank you. Any interesting stories from learning English? Not really, to be honest. I can't really think of one. So I'm trying to think like the learning English in school. But you know, for me, I learned English via Age of Empires 2, to be honest. I have a fun story here actually. I had like you know, a box with the Age of Empires 2 game. And then you had a little guide in it, you know, a guide to the civilizations and the units. And then I stumbled upon a word, especially, and I didn't know what it meant. So I think it was for the camel unit. It said like especially good against cavalry. So then I asked my mother, so I was at home with my mother, and I asked, can you call father and ask him what especially means? So she was like calling, what does it mean? And then she told me, so I don't know what he thought. He was at work, my father, and had to respond to that question. But yeah, I suppose that's a nice wholesome story from me learning English via Age of Empires 2 and my dear mother and father. So I knew that camels in Age of Empires 2 are especially good against cavalry. And now you all know too. We're learning a lot of good things in this stream. So thank you for the contribution. And then we have from good old Sweden, we have Sof Halful. Sofia, I believe. Hello, good evening. Good of you to check in. Thank you for being a substitute for my kid's bedtime story. I got a bad cough, so I let him listen to you talking passionately about reading books and being a gentleman as always. Thank you very much. It truly, that warms my heart greatly. That makes me so happy. Truly, it does. So maybe I could read Frog and Toad at some stream. I don't know. I've read that book so many times. I will make a video, by the way, showing my books that I read to my girls. I can say for now, Frog and Toad is like the top of everything. It's the best you can. And I will also say that if you look at Swedish children's books, it's like, yeah, it's grim, it's dark. If you go into like a normal bookstore and you look for like Swedish children's books, it's not good at all. It's very, very disturbing, very disturbing. I'm not gonna blackpill about it now, but I actually read most of the stories in English simply because finding stuff in Swedish that is not, demonic. I'm not even exaggerating now. It looks demonic, many of the things. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. Hearing from a mother that she appreciates her son listening to me, it's truly, truly heartwarming. I have a story also from, like almost 10 years ago now. There was it was an event hosted by Don and Magnus, so two gentlemen in Sweden, been involved in Swedish politics for a long time. So they hosted an event, and a mother, she came there, she was like 50 or so, and she came up to me and said, my son is like 15 years of age, he was quite, insecure and everything like that. Then he started to watch your videos, started going to the gym, and now he's a bit more, happy and confident. And since then I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. So anyway, thank you a lot, Sofia, if that is indeed your name, I do believe. And thank you for your support. And then lastly, okay, again from John, my man Frank, made my day. We're all gonna make it, bros. Yes, we are. We're all gonna make it. Hans Grens, €5. If the struggle were less desperate, what would you have said to the mixed race commenter? What to say? What to say, to be honest? There's one thing to actively promote something that leads to rootlessness. This is not good. So, if I were in charge tomorrow of Sweden, I would say, or indeed any European country, I would say like, okay, the companies that promote this, they're gonna get fined. Something like that. That's a perfectly reasonable course of action to say. So that is what you can do politically. But to harbor bad blood against someone for being born in a certain way, he isn't promoting race mixing. The gentleman who contributed there, he is not promoting it. He's not saying this is good. And this is also my experience talking to mixed race guys for over 10 years. None of them, they say it's good. All of them, they say this is hurtful to me, and I don't suggest anyone else do it. So these guys are often the ones who are quite vocal in saying that it's not a good idea. So there's no reason to be hostile to these guys at all. Be hostile to the companies if they constantly have like an African man and a white woman. Be hostile to those guys, but do not be hostile to a random guy who happens to have mixed blood. Anyway, thank you for the contribution. And let's see. We have okay. Alright, so we have streamed for quite a long time. Have we streamed for like 1.5 hours already? That's a lot. I've been talking non-stop for 1.5 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna respond to the last questions. So we have one more question here on the YouTube super chat, and then we have no new one here on the. So yeah, if anyone has any last questions, you can submit it now, and I will respond. Otherwise, I will just respond to this, and then I will bid you all good night. So we have JC of the Con, $10. Thank you very much. I wanted to say I started watching your older videos after a nervous breakdown I had last year. They've helped motivate me to rebuild my life. Also, congratulations on your 3rd child. Thank you very much for the congratulations, and yeah, I'm super happy that they could be of help. I truly am. It is something that I usually bear with me, that even if I have, you know, some videos, they might not reach super many guys, but at least they can reach someone and brighten their day and help them get through some bad times. And I get this comment quite often, which is super motivating for me to know that that is indeed helpful. So yeah, thanks for letting me know, and thank you for the generous contribution. So yes, anyway, I will see here. I will comment before going. I will comment on the fact that it is today International Women's Day. This is the last thing we will comment on before I close the stream and I drift off to sleep. So, and I'm going to try to make sense now after being hyped and streaming for 1.5 hours. So, International Women's Day, supremely humiliating for women. It's like saying that half of our girls are, you know, they make up an oppressed minority. So like here you have a day where you focus on the fact that you're so oppressed by the horrible patriarchy, but you know the patriarchy is a father's gift to his daughters. So that's what it is. A patriarchy, you're a servant of women, basically. That's what a patriarch is. So it's built for women. So yeah, I will probably elaborate on this in a video when I'm a bit fresher in my mind, so I can properly, you know, make the case for that patriarchy is something that benefits women first and foremost, that you have that structure, that you have that safety for them, that you can guide them through life. So International Women's Day, for a woman to view herself as part of an identity which is just woman, it's not really good. A woman, just as a man, should view herself as part of a group. Then she can shine and she can blossom and be lovely. So that about that. Not super insightful, perhaps, but I will say it better in a different video. All right, Spellsword PT, a last super chat, much appreciated. You have inspired me to perfect my craft. How may I send you my album? That is very much appreciated indeed. You can send me an email to marcus@thegoldenone.se, and yeah, we can take the conversation there. And yeah, so if I can inspire art, I'm happy. You know, I'm a sensitive artist, a romantic dreamer myself, so if I can be, you know, inspire others, that makes me really happy. So yeah, do send me an email and we can talk there. And then we have a last super chat. Finnish Fitness Official, €5, thank you very much, to support your content. Also, what are some holy sites in Scandinavia I could visit? Thank you for the contribution. First and foremost, I want to give you a book recommendation from a fellow Finnish man, Aki Cederberg, Holy Europe. So he talks about sacred sites in all throughout Europe. And he also talks about Löily, and that is the spirit of the sauna. So whenever you go into the sauna and you throw water on the sort of the hot stones, and then the the sort of spirit, the Löjlu spirit comes out. Something to think about. I will elaborate later on as well. But yes, some holy sites in Scandinavia I could visit. So Gamla Uppsala is always a good starting place. You have Ale Stenar in Skåne, the Scania. You have some places in Östergötland as well. You can also do the following. The exact name, there's an app. It's like you can look at runes on a map and get their coordinates so you can go to them. So you have Uppland, so where I'm checking in from, you have rune stones basically all over the place. So you could do something like that, a rune stone safari almost, going around looking at those places. So you can find these magical places here and there. I think I should make a video on it. Some cool places. You also do have Gotland, of course, full of sacred places. Visby, of course, one of the most beautiful places on earth. Visby, what a place. Julia and we were there last year. Hopefully we can go back some of the coming years as well. Truly magical place. So yes, thanks a lot, Finnish Fitness. Naturkarta, it's called. So Naturkarta, there you can check in. So yeah, good times, and I do believe those are all of the super chats. And again, thank you to Finnish Fitness Official for the contribution. I'm just gonna update here on here, and yeah, I suppose we will say thank you to everyone. I do believe I have responded to all super chats. I'm just scrolling through here. It would be supremely embarrassing for me if I have missed a super chat. I have hearted all of the super chats. So yeah, alright, we have everything. Thank you so much for checking in. It was a pleasure to stream. I hope I will stream soon again, and I hope I brought some nice enlightenment. So thank you everyone for checking in, and I will see you in the next stream or the next video. XOXO.